Hello there, my name is Cohen, and today I will be talking about the Beyerdynamic M380. So, what's up with this guy? What's up with this guy? What's up with him? This is a really interesting microphone. This is a dynamic figure 8 microphone. You don't see many of those floating around. This is a microphone that is incredibly special and unique, and there isn't many microphones like this. This is kind of one of a kind. And there isn't really too many videos out there talking about this specific microphone. So I figured, I should contribute to that a little bit. I just noticed that the XLR plug in my microphone's a little wiggly. That's probably not a good thing. These microphones are quite old and have been long discontinued, but still cherished by many. This one is a microphone that was much beloved by Steve Albini. And for the most part, its reputation comes from its significant low-end response. It has an incredibly deep sub-bass sound that, in combination with its figure 8 polarity pattern, which has a large proximity effect, you can use that to tailor the low end of whatever source you're using it for. Most of the time, you're going to see these on bass cabinets and kick drums because of the low end part. Now, this microphone is very woolly. It doesn't have a lot of high frequency response, like at all, So oftentimes you're going to see this microphone tailored with another brighter microphone, and you sort of use it in a tweeter and driver configuration, much like a speaker system, where let's say you'll have this on a bass cabinet and you'll have a brighter microphone and you'll just simply have a high pass filter on the brighter microphone, so that that low frequency content isn't getting muddled up with the low frequency content with this microphone. Recording that way allows you to be able to shape and tailor the sound source with a lot of flexibility in post in the mixing phase. Something that's also really important about these microphones, the spread of sound that are on these specific microphones is very large. There's specifically one guy whose name is Frans. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. If I'm not, I'm so sorry. But he's in Germany, and he's kind of the expert when it comes to these specific microphones. He makes a recreation of this microphone, or a clone of it, over here. This is what that microphone looks like. He has a thread on Gearspace where he talks about the clone of this microphone, and he also mentioned in emails when I was talking to him about this video, he wanted me to press the fact that no two Beyer M380s are alike. The spread of sound that is on these capsules specifically, the part that actually records the sound, the spread of them varies a lot from specimen to specimen. So you're going to find some that maybe have tons of sub-information and are a little bit more mellow in the 100, 200, low mid area, and you're going to find specimens that are the vice versa. Now, what I will say though is that I've owned 2 of these vintage specimens, and this one that I have currently right now is much more similar in sound to the other vintage specimen that I had, more so than this one is to this guy. However, despite that difference though, it's not a bad thing. The difference is actually a good thing. So Frans, something that he talked about when it came to his clone is that his new clones have fresh, unused capsules that haven't been exposed to the elements, and as a result have a much more full-figured performance than the vintage specimens. A lot of the vintage specimens after time start to lose a lot of high end, whereas this one actually has a decent amount of high frequency content. Not a lot, but like a decent amount. And the low end content though is much more extended. To me, this is much more of more emphasis on the sub lower 60 hertz information and less on the 100 hertz. And this is kind of the vice versa. Less sub, more 100 hertz. Now again, every capsule is going to be a little bit different. However, I am ecstatic with this clone. This, to me, sounds better than both of my vintage specimens of the M380. Now, that can be a good or a bad thing. I was actually thinking about selling this one, but Frans actually told me that there was, I guess, a cute little trick in regards to the sound of these two specimens kind of being complementary to each other. Since this one has a little bit more 60 and below area and less 100, 200, use that one for kick drum, and then the same thing for this guy over here. Has less sub, more 100, 200, so use it for bass cabinet, you know? And as a result, their low frequencies don't meddle with each other. And I thought that was a really cute little trick, you know? I liked it. I did it for a test recording. I thought it turned out pretty good, so I'm very happy with that. But though, these vintage specimens go for, I don't know, like $1,500, you know? Which is quite a lot. However, Franz's clones, I think, are only like conversion euro fake money. I don't know, $700, $750, somewhere around there. I'll have like some kind of subtitle correction for the actual going price of the clone microphones somewhere here. But it's to me though, this is a way better value. You know. I would seek these out like much more so than this one. The fresh capsule makes a huge difference. And now again, Frans has said that this newer microphone, his clones, sound much more in line to his like favorite specimens of the Beyerdynamic M380, you know? And as a result, probably a lot of the Beyerdynamic M380s that you see flown around on the web are not the best specimens, you know? They can be still useful for some things though, but you know, to me, I don't think it's worth the chance. And I think it's just way better to get this clone. Because again, it does all the things that I like about this one though, but I really like the high frequency response on this one actually. I could use this on something like kick drum and not need to combine it with another microphone or another brighter microphone. Let's say I'm miking up the batter side of the kick drum, like where the kick drum pedal goes pop, 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 and hits the little kick drum head. You know what I'm talking about? I don't have to do that with this one, you know, and I really like that. A couple of, I guess, tidbits or cute little pieces of information is that there's a lot of information online talking about like the output of these microphones being so hot that you don't need to use them with a preamp, you know, like you could just use, you can just use it as like a line level output. There is an asterisk next to that. One of the ways that people have caught on to that idea is that Steve Albini, when he's recording kick drum with one of these microphones, would just run it straight into an 1176. And kind of people took that as an indication that you could use it as a line level output. You really shouldn't. The low end of the microphone is significantly, or I shouldn't say significantly, it's not as good if you run it as a line level output because of the impedance value of line level impedances versus mic level. Is that the right way of saying it? Just because that the impedance of normal line input devices is somewhere around like 10,000 ohms or something silly like that, you know? These things were meant to like receive like 1,000 ohms, you know, like that's where they're optimized for. And the 1176 is what's called a mic level input is rated for 600 ohms, which is pretty close to 1,000 ohms, you know? So as a result, you know, it still has that characteristic low end. Now, Frans has said that will make a significant impact on the low end. My own personal test has it that it didn't make that much of an impact on the low end personally, but though I defer to his expertise on these matter. And if you want the optimum performance out of your microphone, you should be combining this with a preamp that has an impedance around 1,000 or so ohms. I usually use like a Neve preamp that has a 1,200 ohmage, and that gets the job done. Anything more than like 3,000 ohms, which is what you're usually going to find on a lot of transformerless mic preamps, you're kind of stretching it, you know? But, you know, I digress. Um, Also, something that's really cool about the Beyerdynamic M380 is that because of its figure eight polarity pattern, if you're miking a kick drum, the figure eight nulls on the side of the microphone will actually tune out a lot of the sort of basketball-like reflections inside of the kick drum, because the kick drum has like it's a circle, so like there's parallel reflections at every single point, you know, and they kind of bounce around and it doesn't really sound that good. This nullifies a lot of those reflections, so you end up getting a lot more nicer sound when it comes to miking inside the kick drum. And also, because of the figure eight polarity pattern, you can use the front lobe or the rear lobe of the microphone to emphasize different parts of the kick drum. For instance, if you want more attack, you just push it closer to the batter side of the kick drum. And if you want to exaggerate the resonant head more, you simply just pull it back closer to the mouth of the drum. So again, it allows you to tailor the kick drum sound a lot more than conventional kick drum microphones, which are usually cardioid in polarity pattern. Besides that, though, I don't know if there's really anything else I wanted to mention. I'm going to put some information for you to contact Frans if you are interested in buying his Beyerdynamic M380 clone. Again, I strongly recommend you do so. I'm going to be recording some bass guitar and drums using these microphones and a Sennheiser 441 as well. I wish I had a better, more typical microphone that you would see on kick drum duties, like an RE20 or an AKG D112, but these have kind of replaced all of those for me, so I sold all of those microphones, so that's the only one I have. So it's not gonna be the best comparison, especially for kick drum, you know, but it'll give you a rough ballpark. Also, just another gush, Frans is hilariously nice person. He's always been one of my favorite posters on Gearspace. Just as I have crawled through and lurched on the forums and have gone through information, I've always really liked his insight. He has several, probably decades at this point, of like wonderful firsthand experience within the studio environment. He has like a hilariously in-depth knowledge of so many microphones, especially like esoteric microphones that no one even thinks about anymore. I've just had so many wonderful email conversations with him. Such an incredibly nice guy. Even when I was, because I've been interested in this microphone for a long time, even when I've been dirt broke, trying to afford to build this studio and the house and everything, he was sympathetic to me embarrassingly not having enough money to pay for the microphone whenever my time came up in the queue to purchase it, you know? Again, just an absolutely swell person, and I can't recommend him enough. But that, I believe, is going to wrap up this video. I hope that this information has been helpful, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Take care.